Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Mina and today's video is going to be something that I'm very excited for. I am going to be doing a part 2 to a video that I've already done, which I've done way back. When I first started my channel, I did this video where I read all of the books that I see all the time on BookTok, BookTube, Book Pinterest, everywhere. These are the books that I hear the most about. These are the books that I see brought up everywhere. They're mentioned everywhere. A lot of people that I watch on YouTube and TikTok tend to talk about these books, and so I decided to do a part 2 and read the books that I see constantly brought up on BookTok because I felt like I didn't want to be missing out. I decided, you know what, I want to know what the girlies are talking about. I want to know what these books are about because I've been hearing things about them for a very long time and I just never really found it in me to go get them from the library and wait for them, because obviously since they're so commonly talked about, the wait list for them at the library is a very substantial list of people. So for this video, I had to wait for some books for very long weeks, but I figured that this would be worth it because then we could be discovering some of my new favorite reads. Who doesn't love that? I will be reading 5 books in this video. I'm so excited to know what these books are about. So without further rambling, let's get on with this video and see what the hype is about. Starting with My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. This is what it looks like. I've heard that nothing happens in this book and that she basically spends the entirety of the book doing nothing. It's basically like I'm Just a Girl, but book form. I'm not really sure how much I'm going to like this book because I have heard a lot of people say that it's not interesting or not fun because of how literally nothing happens in it. It's about apparently this girl who is not happy with her life and she lives in Upper East Side of Manhattan. She's like a rich girl and she decides that she's not happy with her life, so she like sleeps, I guess. That's what I've heard people say about it. It's like the most I'm Just a Girl book out of all the I'm Just a Girl book, you know? This created the genre, I feel like. I hear people talk about this literally nonstop. I'm very scared because I feel like I'm not gonna like it because literally nothing happens in it, and if there's not a plot, I'm not gonna want to read it. But I am going in with high hopes. I'm hoping that I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm hoping that I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna give it a fair chance. So that's what we're gonna be starting with. Let's hope I like it and don't DNF it, because this type of video always ends up having 1 or 2 DNFs. I hope to God I don't. That I started My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and I am so sad to say that I am DNFing this at 85 pages because I am not enjoying this at all. I feel like it's going to send me into a reading slump. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for anybody, let alone myself. I really tried, but I don't like the main character. Don't like her at all. I feel like that probably was a plot device. Like, it's an important thing to the story that you don't like the main character. Maybe that's just me though, that doesn't like her, but literally, quite literally nothing happens. She's just unhappy, and so she just stops doing things. She doesn't want to do anything because she wants to rest for a year. And literally you just follow her as she rests. And I don't want to read a story that with nothing happening in it because I feel like I'm going to get bored and it's going to send me into like a reading slump, and I'm not going to want to read, and I'm just going to continue to put it off and then end up in a reading slump and not finish this video when I want to. So I'm going to DNF it because I feel like it's just not for me. Love it for the girlies that love it. It's just not, I'm not one of those girls. I don't love it. Didn't really enjoy the 80 pages of it that I read. I understand why a lot of people say it's a feminist book, because obviously it's about a girl who literally just does nothing and rests. So on that front, I guess it's feminist. I don't really know why the girlies are obsessed with it. I don't even like the way it's written. So that's my spiel on it. I don't really like it. Didn't really care for it. If you loved it, that's great. Go you, but it's just not for me. I'm going to pick up this book, which is Bunny by Mona Awad. This is what it looks like. I feel like if you have been anywhere on BookTube, BookTok, Book Pinterest, I feel like you have had to have heard about this at least once or twice. I've seen at least 3 of the YouTubers that I watch talk about this book and watch them read it and really have a lot to say about it. Apparently it's life-changing. I don't know how many pages this is. This is 305 pages, so it will be really easy to read, and it looks like the font is really huge in here. I'm not really sure what this book is about, to be honest. I don't think I heard anybody describe the plot or what it's about. I've just heard how people feel about it, and I've seen it a lot on my socials. Literally everywhere I go, on BookTok, BookTube, everywhere I go, somebody at least one person is talking about this book, and so I feel like it might be time for me to pick it up and see what it's about. Love the pink theme that we have going on though. I heard it's a little bit disturbing, so stay tuned. If I could curse on my channel, this would be the book that I would curse about, because what the flippin' hell did I read? This book is so stupid. This book is so dumb. This book is so not what I expected it to be. I expected it to be like a feminist, like, masterpiece. Not that. It's horror, which I did not know. I had no idea that this would be a horror book. Had I known, I wouldn't have picked it up. Very gory, very disgusting. I'm not really sure what the point of it was. I don't know why the author wrote it. I don't like the way it was written. It kind of made my skin crawl, so I guess it worked in the horror aspect. Waste of my time. I gave it 2 stars. Did I already mention that? And that is being generous, because I wanted to give it like 1.5 stars. No wonder it has such a low rating on Goodreads, because girl, what the hell is this? This is a shit show. Genuinely, don't pick up this book. Don't pick it up. Don't fall for the chatter about it like I did. I even wasted my Audible credit for this. I wasted my Audible credit for this. I bought it and I listened to it because I could not for the life of me get through like the actual reading of it. I continued to try because obviously I DNF'd my year of rest and relaxation yesterday, and so I was like, well, I can't DNF this one, so I got the audiobook because I was like, maybe I just need to listen to it with a different cast of characters instead of my voice, because I didn't like the way it was written. Didn't like the way it was narrated either. Not the narration's fault, not the narrator's faults, but it's just the book. It's just the book for me. Don't like it. Don't recommend it. Don't ever want to think about it again. I'm so mad that I wasted my hours, that I wasted my time reading, that I wasted a book read on this abysmal book. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I don't want to talk about it, so let's move on. The next book that I'm going to be picking up is none other than Heartless Hunter, or The Crimson Moth. Depending apparently on where you live, this book is called something different. Never realized that until I watched someone else make a vlog where they read this book. They said that this was called two different things. It has two different titles. This is book 1 in the Crimson Moth series. I'm very excited because I've heard so much about it. I'm so excited to get into a fantasy world because I haven't been in a fantasy world in a very long time, and I feel like now is time. I'm ready. I'm gonna pick this up. I hope for the life of me that this book is better than Bunny and My Year of Rest and Relaxation, because I'm about to start distrusting BookTok to the highest degree. Because what the hell? These books have sucked. These books have been sucky, annoying, just like mind-numbingly bad, to the point where I feel like I'm getting into a reading slump. So I don't really love that for myself because I want to finish this video on a high note. So with this one, I have only literally ever heard good things about this. I know a lot of people love it. I know a lot of people love the fantasy world of it. The romance, I guess there's a romance in here as well. I have very high hopes for this, so I hope it doesn't let me down, because if it does, I'm deleting this channel. Yep. Pages in. Literally, I just stopped on chapter 13. I am eating this book up. I am eating this up. I love this. This is everything that I needed. This is everything that I've been yearning and craving for. It's such a good fantasy. It's written so well. It's so easy to understand. It's basically this enemies to lovers, I guess, but with a witch and a witch hunter. Oh my god, is it delicious. It's so good. So good. There's one trope that I really don't like that's taking place in this book, and it's a pretty big part of this book that I don't like. I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't like going into my books knowing anything about them, and so I don't want you to go into it knowing anything about it, because I feel like that's how you should go into it. But that one singular trope is kind of ruining it for me. But other than that, this book is everything I have needed in so long. I love it. I'm so excited for the second book. I am going to read some more today, believe it or not, because I cannot get it off. I cannot get enough. I don't even want to listen to the audiobook because I want to experience it for myself and actually like read it myself. Oh, it's so easy to read. The scenes that are happening in here, oh my god. Oh my god. It's delicious. It's delicious. That's the best way I can describe it. It's beautiful and magical, and there are some lines in here where if this were my copy, I would be absolutely annotating it. I feel like if you like the vibe that Powerless gives, this kind of gives off the same vibe, but in a very different way, to the point where I literally find myself giggling and kicking my feet and like laughing and just finding the romance just so this is peak romantasy. This is peak romantasy. This is the like thing for people who enjoy romantasy. I'm giggling, I'm blushing, I'm kicking my feet. I love the characters. I love Gideon. I love Rune. Oh, and the magic system is so easy to understand, and it's so easy to follow along with as a fantasy world. I feel like with some fantasy worlds, they're so complicated, and that like the authors do the most, and I understand, because if you're creating a world, you want the person to be able to understand it. But with this, it's so easy to understand, and it's just so fun to read. Yeah, I am loving my time with it, and I'm gonna get off of here so I can go read. Been reading reading some more of The Heartless Hunter, which I want to keep calling The Crimson Moth for some reason. I have watched a lot of YouTubers make a video about this, and whenever they do call it, they're like, oh, I don't know why I keep calling it Crimson Moth instead of The Heartless Hunter. I get it now. Every time I used to be like, oh, that's so dramatic, but now I get it. I get it. I keep calling it in my head Crimson Moth, but it's actually called, well, at least this version is called Heartless Hunter. I am now on page 254 on chapter 37, so I'm a little bit over halfway, and I am eating this book up. I am loving it so much. I am enjoying the fantasy world so incredibly much that I cannot believe I've gone so long without knowing that this world existed. I am so excited for the second book in the series. I don't know how many books this is going to be, but best believe the minute that the second book is out, I will be there and I will be holding it in my hand. I definitely want to get my own copies of these because I just haven't been so obsessed with a fantasy world in a very long time, and I feel like this is giving me the feels that I need, you know? Like right now in my head, it's Powerless and also this, and I am eating it up. I'm enjoying it so much. This is definitely a redemption from the crappy week of reading that I've had. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be finishing this tomorrow, and yeah, I'm just loving it so much. I love the interactions between the characters. I love how easily the banter is done. I love how instead of being told things, we're shown things happening, and I really love Rune as a main character. She is so strong and just so complex as a character, and she has so many like things that go through her brain that make you understand why she does the things that she does. And also Gideon, I love him so much. The struggle that they both have to go through to try to fight the way that they feel for each other and the way that they're doing things because they feel like they have to do it for this specific reason, even though their hearts are telling them something completely different, is so beautifully done that it makes me yearn and long for them just to be together. And I'm so scared to see how this book ends, because if it ends on a cliffhanger, I'm jumping off a cliff. I am loving this book so much, and I'm gonna be so sad when it's over and I'm no longer in this world, but I am so looking forward for the next book in the series. Got like 40%, 45% left of this book, and I am already dreading finishing it. But the book that I'm starting after this one is one that I'm also very excited for, so it'll be a little consolation prize. Hopefully I love that one as much as I love this one, but I understand now the hype and why everybody says what they say about this book. And I will see you tomorrow for probably me finishing this book. Finished Heartless Hunter, and I gave it 5 stars. I want you to know that this is the best thing to come out of this video. This is the best thing. I love it. Oh my god, it is so beautifully done, so amazing, so incredible. The romance, the like the fantasy world of it, the magic system, the way that both characters are just so in love with each other. The best way that I can describe this, the way that this made me feel, is that it makes me feel the way I felt when I read Ruthless Vows and Divine Rivals, because I remember feeling so just enamored with like the world and the characters and the way that they love each other and the way that the romance unfolds. And I feel like I felt the same way with this one. So I feel like if you liked Divine Rivals, then I think you would really love this one. If you haven't read it yet, I don't know where have you been, because this deserves every single praise that it's ever gotten. And I am one of the biggest fans of this series now, and I cannot wait for me to get the second book, because the way that this ended was so painful and I did not expect it. And when I got to it, I genuinely was shocked. I was shocked. I was distraught. I cannot wait. I will be the first person in the pre-order line when the second book comes out. Best believe I will be there, knocking on the doors of Barnes & Noble the day that it gets released. I will be there. Definitely the best thing to come out of this video, because I feel like I'm having the worst time this week, and that is proven correct because I started The Ministry of Time. This is a science fiction novel, and it's like one of the most hyped science fiction novels that I've ever heard about. This is basically about immigrants that come from time travel. Like, the people that work in this thing, they go back in time and they bring people that were going to die in their timeline from like before World Wars, before all of that, and they rescue those people because they were going to die anyway, so they're not going to mess with the timeline, and they bring them back to our current time, and we just follow their story from there. I love the premise. I love the premise so much. And also, this was Emily Henry's like one of her favorite books, and I love Emily Henry and I love her writing. I just don't see what she sees in this, because I tried so hard. You guys, I tried so hard. I read it physically, listened to the audiobook of it, but I just cannot get into it. I am 105 pages in on chapter 4. This is how much I read. And I cannot, for the life of me, get into this book. It's so boring. It's putting me to sleep. It's putting me in a reading slump. I don't want to read. I find myself just putting it down and like getting distracted by other things that I'm doing, because I just cannot focus on this book. I don't know what it is. And the worst part of it is that I was so excited for this book just because of how much Emily Henry praised it. But I guess this just shows you that books are like very personal, and book tastes are very personal. And just because somebody else that you loves a certain book does not mean that you are going to love it, because best believe I did not love it. I did not love it at all. While there are some crazy lines in here about being an immigrant, and there's so much between the lines and there's so much to unpack, I just don't think those parts are enough for me to push through everything else that bores me and makes me feel like I don't want to read this book, and I don't want to push myself to read something that I don't enjoy. So I am DNFing this, which makes me so mad because this is the second DNF. It's upsetting me very much, but 100 pages in, I really gave it my best shot, you guys. I hope you know that. If this is your favorite book, if you love this book, if you adore this book, then I wish I was you. I wish I saw what everybody else saw in it, but unfortunately that just didn't happen for me. We are officially on the last book of this video. You can't see it in my hands, but it is a mammoth, if you will.
She's huge, but she's so beautiful. She's a mammoth, of course.
I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get through this book. I don't know. Because looking at it makes me so intimidated and so scared. I don't know if I want to read it. Just by the sheer size of it. It's 700 pages. 700 pages. This book is everywhere. I don't know what it's about. All I know is that I see this cover everywhere, and I see people talking about it everywhere, and everybody loves it, and everyone and their mother is talking about it. Actually, this is the book that inspired me to make this video, because I see it everywhere. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Girl, what? Look, like, do you see this? Do you see this? You could hurt somebody with this book. If you throw this at somebody, they will probably end up having a concussion because of how huge and just thick this book is. Oh my god, I'm so scared. I have no idea what it's about. I just know that it's a fantasy, and apparently it's really good because a lot of people are reading it, and a lot of people are raving about it and saying that they adore this fantasy, and it's almost fall as I'm filming this video, so I felt like I might as well pick up a fantasy book to get me in the fall spirit. You know, it's still 100 degrees outside, but it's a mindset, fall is a mindset, you know? Oh, just knowing that it's 700 pages is actually ruining the mood, because I was so excited to read it, and then I saw it in person and I said, no book has any business being this thick. Started When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, and explain to me why there is, let's count it, shall we? The glossary is, well, first of all, yeah, the glossary is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages. The glossary is 11 pages. The creatures are 3 pages. Then you have the characters, which are 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Then you have the pronunciation guide, which is 1, 2, 3 pages. And then you have like a prelude to the story. And then it's the first chapter. What is going on? I was honestly just gonna skip over the glossary, the pronunciation guide, because I feel like regardless if I read the pronunciation guide or not, I'm gonna say the stuff the way that I say it in my head anyways, but I didn't want to be disrespectful to the story, so I did end up reading all of them, but I felt like that just took so much time out of reading the story, and then you have like the whole prelude to the story about like the gods and goddesses and whatnot, and I feel like it was just a lot. The world has already just started, and we're already jumping like 20 feet deep. I don't know anything that's going on. I don't know. I feel like had I been listening to an audiobook, listening to this being read to me, then maybe I would understand it a little bit better. But I'm not gonna make that judgment just yet. I'm gonna continue to read because maybe it'll grow on me, and I have high hopes in it, so. I am 58 pages in. This is how much I read, and I cannot get into it. I can't get into it. I can't get into the world. I can't get into the characters. I don't know what it is about this book. I don't know if it's because of how big it is, or if it's because of how intimidating it is, or because of how the world seems to be building a little bit slowly. I don't really enjoy the character, and I don't want to DNF it. So I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get the Audible version of this and maybe listen to a little bit of it to get me into the story. And then once that happens, maybe I'll finish the rest of it in actual book. But if I don't, then I'll just listen to the whole audiobook of the thing. And I know some people say that if you listen to the audiobook, then you're not really reading. But in my opinion, listening to an audiobook is the same as reading, because you're actually digesting the story and listening to it and actually knowing what's going on. And I feel like for me with fantasy, sometimes it's easier to listen to it, because then you get really involved in the world and you get to know the characters and you get to like hear their different voices and distinct like tones of voice and the character of them. So I feel like it will be much easier for me if I just listen to it versus reading it, even though I don't want to, you know? I actually want to enjoy the story and understand what's going on. So for that reason, I'm gonna start the audiobook, and then I will let you know how I feel about it, and maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit more. Have been listening to the audiobook of When the Moon Hatched. I almost said When the Moon Dropped or When the Moon Fell. In the physical copy, I am on chapter 62 on page 493. I believe this book is 700 pages, if I'm not mistaken. This is how much I have left. Listening to it is so much easier than reading it. Listening to it, I'm actually engaged in the story. I know what's going on. I know the characters. I love them. I actually have a lot of like attachment to the story, and I'm reading it or like I'm listening to it and I'm actually finding enjoyment in the story instead of just reading it to read it because I'm reading it for this video. I'm actually really, really enjoying the story. It's really easy to follow along with. I do have some flaws about this book. Like, they say the C-O-C-K word a lot in this book. Baby girl, left and right. The main character is dropping that word left and right, left and right. She's like, I'm gonna gut him from C-O-C-K up until his gullet or whatever, and I just don't like that word. I don't know why we're using that word over and over and over again. I just don't know. That's the only problem that I'm having with it right now. Why are we talking about dragons left and right? I feel like the first book that I read that had dragons really incorporated into the story was Fourth Wing, and now it feels like every other romantasy book has some sort of dragon element to it. I don't really like her name. I don't like her. I don't like her as a character. I feel like I like Khan better than Rave because she's just so annoying and her chapters are really annoying, but I like him. He's really cute. He's very soft. At least with her he is. He's very like willing to give and do acts of service and like protect her and whatnot, and it's really, really cute. Maybe I'll listen to like 100 more pages of the audiobook because I have 200 pages, so I might as well just listen to another 100 and then I'll read the last 100 pages. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'll be able to come home from work and then probably finish this tomorrow. That's the plan. But as of right now, I'm really, really enjoying it. So look at this. Are we ready? Are we ready? I listened to the audiobook a little bit more today, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it. This is all I have left. I have like 30 minutes left on the audiobook if I'm not mistaken. I'm on chapter 87, and I have decided that I'm going to read the rest of this physically versus listen to it because I feel like I've listened to a lot of it now to the point where I'm still like, I understand the characters, I understand the world, I understand the dragons, and I understand the concept and everything that's going on. I know what's happening, and I'm a little bit more in tune of the characters and their dynamics together. Even the main character has grown on me a lot. I'm gonna say I have like 40-ish pages, 50-ish pages left. Shouldn't take me long, and then we'll finally be done with this video and this book. Fall 2025? Oh my god, that's so far away. Have finished On the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, right? That's her name. I'm still thinking on what I want to give it because honestly, the way that this world was built and the way that the story was told, it was very fascinating. I don't think I've ever read a fantasy book that was this long and so intricately woven to where the story is like you need to know things to understand the ending. I don't know. I really thought it was very, very interesting. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars, and I definitely think that I'm going to continue on with the rest of the series, which is not something that I thought was going to happen. I honestly just thought that I would just finish this book and move on with the rest of my life and find other fantasies that I would like to read. But this one has proven very entertaining and very interesting, and I really would like to know where it's going to go after the ending of this one, and I really want to know the character that was mentioned in the end of this one because I think that's going to be a very interesting way to look at the book. I am very excited to see where the story goes from here because I'm honestly so intrigued to see what she does with the rest of it. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it if you have enough patience and you have enough time to be able to read such a behemoth of a book. This was such an accomplishment. I definitely feel so very accomplished to have finished something so ginormous within like 4 or 5 days. I will see you in the wrap up. Let's let's go rewind to all the books that I've read in this video because it feels like it's been ages that I've been filming this video. So let's go. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any other TikTok, BookTok books, BookTube books that you feel like I should read that I haven't read. This was really, really fun. I think the best thing to come out of this video was probably Heartless Hunter because I heard so much about it and it feels like it was justified. It feels like that book really just made this video all worth it. I really, really enjoyed it. I had the best time. This is your sign if you haven't read A Heartless Hunter or The Crimson Moth to please do because you're missing out. It's such a fun fantasy. You know, you can't win them all. And at least now I know what the books are about. So there's always that. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts and opinions were about them. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, that means the world to me. I hope you have the very best day. Treat yourself to something nice and I'll see you guys again next week with another video, of course. Bye!